Hello everyone, what is up? It is me, Ewan from WhatCulture Gaming, joined as ever by the ludicrously brilliant Scott Tailford.
Hello!
Because you have some news to inundate with me and the viewers today. I've kind of just woken up this Friday and It's been rainy and sad, but I'm sure you have some uplifting bants for us all right now.
Well, it's bants on our end because we are not Bethesda. So it turns out that Mr. Big Bad Bethesda...
Sucks to be you, lol.
Sucks to be you, Bethan. They just can't seem to catch a break whatsoever. It turns out that last year, you might remember in November when Fallout 76 first dropped, obviously it was a bit of a mess. And a lot of people went, can we get a refund, please? Because this thing is, kind of literally unplayable. Bethesda said, to hell with you, no, we're not doing that. That wasn't their exact words, but they're not going to do refunds. Turns out, though, that by saying that they couldn't have a refund for a ostensibly broken product, that would break Australia's consumer law. So it's taken this long for things to be filed and come back around again. But the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission said that they found that Bethesda and ZeniMax are likely to have contravened the Australian consumer law.
So what you're telling me is...
Likely.
Bethesda is Bart Simpson and Bart Goes to Australia.
Go on.
And then they've gone, Andy, Mr. Prime Minister! And then they've done this.
They've all come running in.
Now they've looked at, you've paid $900 dues for Fallout 76, and now they've gone and done, sorry Australia, my only knowledge of your nation comes from Crocodile Dundee and Bart Goes to Australia.
Which is both endearing and also horrific, but for the most part positive. But in this regard, Fallout 76 just seems to be that it just, like I said, they can't catch a break. And there was a statement from Sarah Court, one of the commissioners for this Australian board, that just basically said that when a consumer buys a product in Australia, there should be certain automatic consumer guarantees, and retailers must ensure that refunds and return policies do exist and don't misrepresent what Australia sort of strives for in regards to their products and all that kind of thing. So, it's weird because obviously we don't usually think of video games as products in regards to, like a mobile phone or whatever. But in this regard, Fallout 76 was just that damn broken, and they managed to get refunds. So they did put a specific time window out, but if you bought Fallout 76 in between November last year, November 24th, and June the 1st, you're entitled to a refund. If you didn't, sucks to be you as well.
I mean, if you bought it after that period, I mean, you're to blame, to be honest, aren't you? That's shocking.
Hey, they know it's human NPCs.
Bethesda just stop, maybe? Because this is just really... I have no expectations now for Elder Scrolls, because even though I love Skyrim, I feel as though I have my own vision of Bethesda, which was Fallout 3 and Elder Scrolls Skyrim, and then obviously you had Obsidian who did New Vegas as well, and I remember that was my little golden period for Bethesda, and now we're kind of in this horrible post-Fallout 76 mess where we've got Fallout people in class warfare with each other, which is the most amazing
that thing is fascinating.
Self-actualization. That's like Skynetting your own fictional concept. It's like, we've got this really great story about like how horrifying the apocalypse is, and then you've got literal people going in and having class warfare.
This is like a side thing, but if you're not keeping up with the current state of the socioeconomics within the Fallout 76 universe, all the people that decided to buy the Fallout First pay monthly thing are apparently being hunted down and killed by all the other players, because if you buy that stuff, you have a different icon that appears on your name. So everyone's just like, he paid for the thing, we'll go and attack that man. But anyway, that's kind of just alongside the giant tire fire that is Fallout 76 right now. And I guess in this regard, this is something that happened last year and it's taken this long to sort of come around, but it's within the same week/2 week period where all hell's breaking loose in regards to that game. But it's weird. I mean, like I said, the amount of people that have bought this thing, like there are people that are buying the Fallout First thing. I don't know, do you imagine a world where someone loves Fallout that much?
I mean, Rich Hudson likes Fallout 76.
But even he hasn't done this.
Yeah, he hasn't done this as well. It's weird to me. I think if you're absolutely obsessed with Fallout, these models, if you're ever obsessed with a particular video game, we've seen, studios really try and capitalize. I think the slang term is whales or whatever. They really, really love and invest in the product. And to be fair to you, if that's what makes you happy, more power to you, whatever. But the way that Fallout 76 is kind of self-imploded has been quite spectacular to watch from afar. Like that bit in Fallout 3 when you drop the nuke on that one town, felt really guilty about it for approximately 5 minutes, and then looked at it and gone, oh, it's a nice explosion.
Yeah.
And Bethesda, I think they're in a similar boat to Ubisoft in the way that they're looking at they should be reappraising what has mostly been a very, very
bumpy
not
road.
So good generation.
It's interesting that you mentioned Ubisoft, because Ubisoft have just delayed all of their major games from next year until later next year so they can actually focus on quality. They had a 93.8% drop in profits this year because
that's gotta hurt you.
That's insane. Like, that's insane. You can check out another video on the channel explaining why, but it's literally because they didn't have any big games this year. But to bring it back to Bethesda, they should be next in line to say, look, we're clearly rushing things out the door. We clearly need to invest in a new game engine or whatever, because they're just going to keep stumbling.
Yeah.
Like, it's only going to get worse.
It's not charming anymore. Back in the day, if you got punted 80 feet into the air by a giant in Skyrim, you go, oh, that's just Bethesda. And now it's just kind of like, Bethesda.
Now it's like,
you've taken my left kidney, what more do you want?
Well, we can charge you to potentially give it back, and then it won't even work anyway. But yeah, in regards to Bethesda, they just seem to be having a bit of a bad time, and I give them some benefit of the doubt. This is just a weird hangover from last year, but I just think, just put the whole thing on hold for a while and sort yourselves out. Do you want some of the more positive
Yes,
news,
please.
So yesterday was obviously Halloween. A lot of different game devs got involved and stuff. Brilliant thing. Well, I guess it was on Sony's side about a potential Spider-Man related announcement. We'll wait and see. But Bluepoint Games got online on Twitter and did this big old cryptic tweet, which we'll put on screen. It sort of just referenced a whole bunch of different games from the PS1, PS2, and PS3. But Bluepoint are the people that made the Shadow of the Colossus remake, and they're kind of just known as like the remake studio or the porting studio. They did the God of War
masters of the remasters.
They are. They're literally the remasters. Or they're yet to do Resident Evil, but still, they had the Uncharted collection, the God of War collection. They helped Titanfall beyond 360 and whatever. So yeah, they put this big tweet out that referenced a whole bunch of past franchises. I'm just going to pick it apart because as much as it seems to heavily lean into Siphon Filter and Metal Gear Solid, but there's also some Castlevania in here. I'll read you the quote.
I will listen attentively.
We'll throw it on screen as well. But they said, "So calm this spooky night, a symphony of rumours, not one but two return from Shadow. A resistance to dart home as black monsters escape twisted hills to wander lands and siphon souls. Filter your candy collection, soft from solid, and be eco-friendly. Have a metal Halloween."
So what you're telling me is that Pepsi Man is getting a remaster?
Yes, and also I think this is the mission statement for Death Stranding. But for the most part, there's a lot of stuff in here that just points to franchise names and legendary installments in certain canons. So, to pick it apart, mentioning the word symphony and the fact that it came alongside a gif of a bunch of bats flying towards what looks like a giant blood moon, looks like it's a Symphony of the Night remaster, which would be something that Konami, I think, would license just for the sake of cashing in on a past property. So there is that. The word Resistance is in here. Obviously, Resistance, massive PS3 franchise, was something that Insomniac used to do.
Oh my god, that was Insomniac. Jeez, what an eclectic studio.
And they could do that. Another thing to throw in on the dev side is that a few months ago there was an interview on Games Radar. I forget the name of the dude that was the lead of Bluepoint, but he was talking to Games Radar about the idea of doing future games for the PS5, and he confirmed that one thing is coming to the PS5 and that it was a big deal, that it was something big, and it was going to be a PS5 exclusive. So that narrows it down to Sony first or second party stuff, which I'm going to get to, kind of makes me think of something more like a Metal Gear or a Siphon Filter, or things that were associated with the PS1 back in the day.
That would be pretty cool, because I played the HD collection of Metal Gear, but I've not played the very, very first, so that would be nice to do. I think the old gaming bucket list.
Plus, on Metal Gear's front, there was a whole fan-made thing a while ago. It really got off the ground. There's a lot of backing to it. They released the fan-made the remake of the Shadow Moses opening level, and then Konami were like, "That actually looks like that's really professionally done. We could do that," and they shut it down. They didn't comment on it other than just shutting it down. But usually these things mean if there's money to be made, then we'll do it. So maybe. But another thing that they mentioned, black monsters, which makes me think of Ico. But if you ever played Ico, those like inky sort of creatures are in there. They already made Shadow of the Colossus.
They're in Death Stranding now.
They are in Death Stranding, so it's like, why not do something that ties into that sort of thing? I also had down, this is when it gets really specific, because they said that black monsters come from Twisted Hills, Silent Hills, could be something on the Konami front again, to siphon souls and filter your candy collection. Siphon Filter. Yeah. That seems like the most obvious one, but I don't, for me, think that the Siphon Filter fandom, I don't think that has a cachet anymore. I mean, it was on the PlayStation Mini.
Maybe they're just trying to generally just tap into that old PS1 nostalgia that's been. We've had Medieval come out, so maybe that's where we're going with all this.
Maybe. I mean, that's the thing. I would never have pegged Medieval to be the next thing that they go with. So with Medieval on the table, it kind of blows it wide open. And I guess people know the Siphon Filter name, so maybe that. But yeah, so you had that. But the fact that they also say Siphon Souls, for the longest time, Bluepoint's been associated with a Demon Souls remaster, so it could also be that. Yeah. And that's the one sort of go-to thing for From Software that we just haven't had talked about or whatever. Hidetaka Miyazaki said that Sony owned the license for the IP, because it was originally on PS3. So if that was a PS5, it could be classed as a PS5 property. So maybe. Last one down is Metal Gear Solid. They said that they want to filter your candy collection, soft from solid, and have a metal Halloween. Now I'm going to point to the words solid and metal and add a gear in and say Metal Gear Solid.
What?
My friend.
The numbers, Mason, what do they all mean?
They mean potential joy.
I'm very excited about all this, because I never actually had a PlayStation 1. I didn't have that. I had a Dreamcast because I was hipster even as a 3-year-old. So I went for the Dreamcast, and then obviously I had an Xbox. So I'm kind of rediscovering all these classic PlayStation games thanks to the efforts of...
What was that driving game that was like MSR?
Taxi Driver?
No. Is it Midnight Street Racing or something? think they'll know. There was a
Midnight Club?
the Metropolitan. There was a racing game on the Dreamcast, and it was the only Dreamcast game that I played. It was set up in Woolworths back in the day.
Oh my god, Woolworths!
Oh my god, Woolworths.
Remember the pick and mix?
Yeah. Pick and mix and MSR was a damn good time.
Let us know which titles from the PS1 you'd like to pick and mix in a remaster. Down in the comments below, and let us know what you think of Bethesda's comedy of errors, because it just keeps on getting more and more hilarious. And I'm just looking at afar right now, and they're the dog with everything's on fire, and I don't know if they're still in the stage of thinking this is fine or not, but
I imagine they're literally on fire at this point.
Yeah, once you've done that, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and head back on over to whatculture.com/gaming for more juicy list news and articles like this every day. You can follow me on Twitter at @UrunesThing, so you can follow Scott on Twitter at
@/LP89.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
God, I hope it's Metal Gear.
Hey.
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 Good.
Hey.